How are we here? Another year. How am I on YouTube? Another year sitting down with the most overwhelming amount of products to tell you about everything that I loved in 2020, in spite of what an insane year it was. I just have a little bit of hot water with lemon and honey, some Manuka honey, part of my favorites. I was scurrying around getting everything prepped for this episode, and I had to just cut myself off because I was like, oh, that and that and that, but I have to talk about this. So today's video is going to be probably long, but also probably incomplete today. We're going to be talking about mostly beauty products. I have skincare, which is the biggest category, makeup, I have some hair care, I have body care, deodorant, and some fragrance. And then as far as the lifestyle products, we're going to talk about some teas, honey, some gut health products, kind of a bigger commentary on the realms of health and healing that I was very attracted to this year and really opened myself up to. And that goes along with some media favorites, so podcasts that were very inspirational and transformational for me. I have not put on like a nice shirt and I can't even tell you how long, so it feels really good to be sitting here and settling in for a chat with you. If you're new to L'Amour et la Musique, I've done this video every year since I started my channel in 2014. I'll link each of the annual beauty favorites videos that I've done down below. I don't think I have it in me to do cutaway shots for all the products because there's so much to talk about and editing is already such a beast for me, but I will, in the description bar, list out everything I've talked about along with links, which I know is often quite helpful for people. You can find everything else you need to know about me and my work at lamourelamusique.com. You can sign up for my newly launched newsletter, L'Amour Reveries. There's just a newsletter tab on my website. I publish that once a month. I've been instituting some changes on my Instagram page. It is now private and I have turned off DMs. I've just been dealing with a lot of difficult situations. I know a lot of people on social media are because everybody hates each other. Basically, if you don't agree with people, people hate each other. I've decided to create a separate private account where I will make stories for supporters of L'Amour on Patreon. That's something that I've been meaning to do for quite a long time. I'm putting it into practice. So the best way to stay up to date with all of that is patreon.com/L'Amour et la Musique. Thank you all so much for being here and spending your time with me. Now let's just dive in with skincare. Okay, let's kind of go in order of, cleanser, oil, toner, serum, moisturizer, balm. Let's like kind of go in that order. However, I say I'm gonna do that and then I kind of am like, oh, I'm gonna do something a little bit different to start, but they kind of go along together. So I do have a cleanser. The Ranavat Ceremony Cream Cleanser. This was a very early in 2020 discovery for me through Beauty Heroes. And then, of course, I have to talk about how transformational the Kansa wand was for me this year. The cleanser is the most moisturizing, most blissful, most amazing second cleanse, creamy cleanse ever. A lot of the other creamy cleansers that I use, I like. They're just a bit lighter and a little bit more refreshing, but this one is truly, I feel, moisturizing and plumpness inducing. A more recent favorite from Ranavat this year, I didn't include it here because I haven't been trying it long enough, the Imperial Glow. Potentially one of the only physical exfoliants I've tried in recent memory that does not irritate my skin. I started trying the Kansa wand in March. I had Michelle Ranavat on my podcast and we talked a lot about the Kansa wand. She sent me one as a gift and I was off to the races discovering this new methodology for holistic facial care. I did 2 month-long projects in March of 2020. I did a whole video review of that, and then on Instagram in September I did a month-long project using this along with gua sha. I had intended to do a January month-long project with this, but I just got a little too overwhelmed, and I may do another one in February, probably on Instagram stories, but again, those will be private for patrons, so if that's something that you're interested in. I guess I should also say all of my static Instagram posts are staying the same on just the L'Amour et la Musique account. So yeah, tons to say about this, but it's really been captured many other places. I pinned all of the stories that I made on this from September on the LAMOUR La Musique Instagram page. Like I said, the video from March is up, and I think I also have an IGTV video from halfway through the first project that I did. I did also get into facial reflexology this year. I kind of taught myself some Dianchan zone. There's all these technicalities about what you can and can't say about that, which I find annoying, but I did get myself a detector tool. However, the Conso wand has definitely been my favorite tool from this year. For first cleanse, I don't have a new one to talk about this year. It's still the Inlight Balm Cleanser. I've tried others and that just continues to be my favorite. So I'm really only talking about products that were kind of new to me this last year. I had to fish this one out of my empties. It's the Marie Veronique Gentle Gel Cleanser. So another favorite second cleanse in addition to the Ronavat. Very different. This is much more of a soothing, refreshing, very, very mildly exfoliating gel cleanser. Love that it's in a pump. Adored this product, would repurchase it in a heartbeat come spring or summer. Really, really loved it, and I recommend it to people a lot. Okay, I have a couple favorite treatment steps or masks. The Mukti Deep Cleanse Antioxidant Mask I discovered this year. To be honest, this brand has been hit or miss for me, but this has by far been my favorite product that I've tried. Again, a Beauty Heroes discovery. This was not in the box, but was sent to me through Beauty Heroes so I could get to experience a little bit more of the line. Oh, I love it. I love a premixed mask. I mean, I have so many powdered masks that are wonderful, but nothing beats just having something that's ready to go, easy to apply, feels wonderful on the skin. I just really like it. And as someone that doesn't tolerate like a deep cleanse or deep pore cleansing product all that well, I mean, basically my skin doesn't like to be disturbed. Many people's skin doesn't really like to be disturbed, and that's a broader discussion we're going to have as we get more into 2021. It's a big conversation going on in the beauty industry right now, but I find this to be clarifying and hydrating at the same time. I can leave it on for 10 minutes. I can leave it on for 30. I tend to err more on the conservative time slot with it. Really have enjoyed it very, very much. I can't remember if this product I talked about in my 2019 favorites, but it's a pretty new discovery. I may have discovered it at the very end of 2019. The Audacity Bioactive Rose Gommage with pineapple and hyaluronic acid. Really kind of one of the only chemical exfoliating fruit enzyme type of exfoliating products that I found that I like. I don't gommage this off, but I do leave it on for 7 to 10 minutes if I want just a gentle resurfacing. I have two favorite eye products of the year, and true to form, like I talked about in my Infiore special edition Infiore Empties video review introduction to the brand, I love a pot of eye product, and I was really happy to see in the comments of that video that other people do too. If you're dipping in with clean fingers, it's all good and really no different than a spatula. So Infiore V Clair Supreme I used for the first half of 2020, loved it, reviewed it really extensively in my recent Infiore video. And then the Inlight Under Eye Revive I have loved for this fall and winter. Beauty Heroes started carrying this product from Inlight this fall. They had added some Inlight products to their range. I have one of the body care products coming up. And again, I did a video and featured these new to Beauty Heroes Inlight products in the winter skincare video, along with the promo, which I think that they do still have a couple left, the Inlight Lip Serum, which is also in this video, and I'll refresh your memory on those details when we get to that. But I loved both of these so much. V Clair Supreme is definitely a multi-season, can use it year-round type of product. Inlight Under Eye Revive, in my opinion, is heavier and more for drier wintertime climates, or if you're really dry around the eyes even in the summertime and just don't produce a lot of oil around the eyes. It's a wonderful nighttime eye treatment. Layers over kind of like lighter eye serums, and love both of these so much. And I'm having a really hard time parting with this jar. I think I'm probably gonna have to keep it. Perfect, amazing little size and artifact. Two moisturizers are in my best of beauty this year, and if you have followed me, you might have picked up on, I mean, I don't know how explicit I've ever been about it, but moisturizers don't often find their way into my favorite products because I tend to not really use them, like a water-based cream. Moisturizer, I've been such a devotee of face oils and face balms for so many years now, but in this last year, I think I just found a couple that I really liked, really made me appreciate moisturizers again. So the first is the Free and True Mama Pacha. Again, I fished this out of my empties. It's completely empty. Actually, there's a little bit that I can still kind of scoop out on the bottom. I had my husband Kjaer use this. He absolutely loved it. When I am in need of a face cream again, I would not hesitate to repurchase that in a heartbeat. It was one of my favorite Beauty Heroes discoveries of 2020. It has an amazing smell. It's so moisturizing. On the heavier, kind of more emollient end, but I used it throughout different seasons. And then another one I fell in love with was from my Reviewing Beauty Awards project, the A Night for Green Beauty 2019 awards. I did a whole video review of those 8 products, maybe 10 products. I'm just embarking on reviewing a new awards list, the Indie Beauty Expo 2019 Best in Show Awards. Really excited about that because I've gotten to do quite a bit of beauty shopping to get prepped to start testing all that stuff. But this is the Sahajan Nourish Face Cream. Wonderful discovery. I've used about a third, almost a half of this. It was so nice, particularly in the spring and summer. So while Mama Pacha is a little bit heavier and I feel you can make it work all seasons, Sahajan is a little light for me personally as a normal skin type in the wintertime. But I do still find myself reaching for this. For example, if I've done enough other layering with oil or essence or serums, and I feel like I just want that slight finishing step and I don't want to do a balm, this is so perfect. In the summertime, I was able to do really minimal routines with this, like Earthwise Ferns and Moss. We're gonna get to Earthwise, don't worry. I'm saving that as like the finale for my skincare chat. But yeah, this was just such a good discovery for me and I really loved and adored it. Favorite face balm, so kind of moving out of the moisturizer category and into this very unique balm serum hybrid product. Launched in 2020, it's the Infiore Fleur Vibrant Serum Cerate. Again, reviewed really extensively in the Infiore Empties video that I did recently. It's kind of like the #1 product I now recommend to people who are interested in dipping their toe in Infiore because it's so multi-purpose. It's so good for the skin, so nutritious for the skin. It's a beautiful experience. I just can't be without this. I keep one here by my makeup kit, either for skin prep or as a finishing step. I like to keep one in my normal skincare stash, and then it's nice to have one in a like to-go makeup bag if you just feel like, you know, afternoon rolls around and you're looking drab and like you need a refresh, but like you don't have a mist because those can be heavier to carry around. Do like a pea-sized amount, pat this on your skin over makeup. Okay, I do have a new favorite SPF product that I started using this year. It's the LAMOUR Elemental Day Silk 12% non-nano zinc fluid. It's really the only kind of new SPF product I tried this year. I'm still using my standbys of Blissoma Photonic, which is really like a summertime SPF for me. Farizad's Veil, another favorite, but we're gonna, again, Earthwise. And then I'm also using Juice Beauty CC Cream, trying desperately to finish up my Graydon Face Glow, which I'm very, very over. But I bought this in the Credo Friends and Family sale, early November, I think. So it's a pretty new in 2020 discovery, but I've just continued to use it and I love it. It's not going to be for everybody because it's extremely moisturizing. It's quite a fluid, it's like physical SPF product. I actually don't find it kicks up much white cast at all on the skin once you blend it in, at least on my, you know, NC20 skin. But I mean, it's pretty undetectable in my opinion. Now, this is really just insanely moisturizing. So I love it if I'm doing like a minimal morning skincare routine and I'm feeling dry. I do 4 pumps of this. It keeps my skin moisturized for the entire day. I really love it. I love this brand. They're up there in my heaviest rotation of brands that I really vibe with in terms of like the philosophy and just how the formulation kind of comes together. I love LAMOUR. I eventually want to try everything from the line. I've loved everything that I've tried. If you like a more moisturizing sunscreen, Kerry Gran 365, Honua Malu are similar. I always mention those as comparators for this because they are similar, but this is definitely better in my opinion. My experience with it has been better, so I love that. Okay, let's now talk about my favorite lip products of the year and then we'll get into Earthwise. Inlight Lip Serum, which is in a rollerball. Again, talked about this and this duo quite extensively in the most recent skincare video I did. And Earthwise Thelma. Wonderful pairing. I feel that used consistently, I actually wasn't that nuts about each product on its own, but when I started layering them, I felt like it started improving the condition of my lips. I felt like it helped circulation in my lips, the tone and color and pigmentation of my lips. I mean, there's more to that. I'm kind of always working on the internal issues related to that in acupuncture, but as a topical treatment, these are so wonderful together. And I believe Beauty Heroes does still have some of these as the gift with purchase. If you spend $100 on Inlight products at beautyheroes.com, you get a free Inlight lip serum with your order, which is a $42 value, I believe. Okay, now we've come to probably the most life-changing skincare discovery for me in 2020, which is Earthwise Beauty, just as a brand, and what I have learned from Ava and just what these products have meant to me, and I know have come to mean a lot to many of you. I have heard so much this year, this sentiment echoed, which I feel too, is, you know, I try so many products and I just always find myself wanting to come back to Earthwise. They're the products I look forward to using the most. I feel like I've seen great results, and it's truly an integrated, like, mind, body, results, emotionality, sensoriality. I mean, it's just kind of all there in this amazing, beautiful brand that I am so late to the game in trying. I've heard it echoed from those of you who also are trying Earthwise for the first time this year and having a similar experience. It's the only thing that you want to use. So really all of Earthwise is my favorite. There's really not much from the brand that I have a bad thing to say about. There are products here and there that aren't especially suited for me. As a teaser, I think next week's video is going to be an extensive review of the 3 balms in Earthwise's range, plus an amazing giveaway. So please stay tuned for that. But if you made me pick some favorites from this brand, like all of the face oils, I did a detailed review of the 5 oil serums in Earthwise's range. So I love Rosa and Ruby mixed with Farizad's Veil. It's just, every time I use this as my morning oil and SPF combo, I feel like my day is off to the most amazing start. I did also kind of want to mention this little tool that I've been using to scoop out Farizad's Veil, which is a powdered physical product that's very customizable, and you can mix it into any oils or balms that you have. But this little Audacity acupressure tool, this is the small version of the tool that comes with Audacity's Crème de la Nuit. You can also purchase a standalone facial acupressure tool, and this spatula is just, I love the experience of scooping out my Farizads and mixing it with my oils. So, you know, highlights there. Ferns and Moss, Magical Babasu, love. Half of like all of the skincare that I keep out on shelves is Earthwise. Nap in the Meadow was actually kind of what got me started, because I had to review this product for my A Night for Green Beauty Awards. I knew I was gonna, it was like finally my time to try this brand, and then I got just really interested in trying everything, and I developed this really amazing rapport with Ava. She came on the podcast. It's one of the most downloaded episodes of the podcast. I'll link it below for you. Kind of my next foray with Earthwise products is how to start using them as amazing hair conditioning treatments. If I look a little bit extra oily in the hair, that's why, because I've been experimenting with so many different combinations of Earthwise products as leave-in hair treatments, per an Instagram post that Ava did recently that I've just been rereading over and over. But anyway, I digress. Tigress Face Balm is extremely special to me. You'll hear more about it next week. Celine Facial Steam. I keep mine in this canister and I keep it downstairs. This is just such an amazing product. Got me back into facial steaming, which is something I hadn't really done in, 5 years or so. This with the Sun God face mask has been one of my favorite beauty rituals of 2020. You can see I've used quite a bit of it. Eventually I will review everything in Earthwise's range. I'm just kind of taking things in manageable chunks. So I did the oils, now I'll do the balms, then I'll do the serums, then I'll do the teas. We're gonna keep working on that through 2021. I did also wanna say, like, the essences have been extremely powerful for me personally. I have some of the aura mists that I've gotten to try, like, through Beauty Heroes, but I've also done custom essence consultations with Ava, both for myself, and then I've also had essences made for baby LAMOUR. I'm actually about to do another round of consulting with her. And then, of course, the teas have been amazing. I've gone through so many boxes of Revered Berries, one of my favorites, the nettle. I love the green tea that I'm not even sure she's carrying anymore, the peppermint tea. I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's this incredible brand with so much vibrant life force. That's the best way I can describe it. I think it was the year that I really needed a brand like this that reminded me of that vitality that nature has and that we can become in communion and partnership with through someone that is really a steward of these realms. I'm just so grateful that I got to connect with Ava this year, and I've gotten to explore this brand as in depth as I have, and I'm just excited to bring you more reviews and more content around that. I do always have an ongoing coupon code with Earthwise. It's just LAMOUR, LAMOUR, for 10% off, and that is also good on pnwessences.com. You can also use that on the Essence consultations. Let's talk about makeup. I don't have a ton of makeup favorites because I didn't really wear very much makeup this year outside of my weekly live streams for Patreon, where I did get to play around a lot. So I have a couple of eye products. So actually I have one base product, the Fit Glow Correct Plus in Peach. Again, I got this in the same Credo order, didn't I? Or maybe I got this from Beauty Heroes. I think I got this the Beauty Heroes early November sale. So it comes in a doe foot and it's amazing. I've been basically doing this as my first step in my makeup routine, blending it out with a beauty blender and then just tapping whatever foundation I've chosen to wear over that area. And I haven't been really using a traditional concealer, just this corrector with foundation over top, and is preventing me from going the route of the Clé de Peau concealer, which I have been considering. Previously had been using the Ilia True Serum Concealer, which I like a lot, but I needed something with a little bit more coverage because I started going to bed later this last year. I don't have a favorite foundation from this year. I mean, I've tried some new ones, but not enough to include in a favorite. So that's still kind of an evolving category, but I do have that corrector. I have two brow products that are unequivocal favorites. The Ilia Essential Brow Natural Volumizing Brow Gel. Love this. I've been using it for just a couple months now, but it's much better overall than the Juice Beauty Brow Gel, which I had been talking about and had always talked about it with caveats. Like, it's not a perfect product, but it's good for these reasons. This I can kind of say all around, I just think is fantastic. I really like it. It has this kind of barbell and it's somewhat less precise than the Juice Beauty or like the Glossier Boy Brow, but I've gotten used to working with it. The formula is not too wet, not too dry. The pigment of the shade I have, which is dark brown, is not as good as the Juice Beauty tone of the black brown. This, you can see a little bit more brown in this one, but it's all good. I mean, certainly not enough to dissuade me from naming it a favorite. The Plume Nourish and Define Brow Pencil. This is a refillable brow pencil. Freaking love it. Best brow filler I've ever used. So I usually do a swipe of the Ilia and then I fill in whatever I need to with the Plume. Only downside is you go through the cartridges quite quickly, but in my opinion, it's worth it. Okay, this little number, it's the Ritual de Fille Celestial Eye Sphere in Andromeda. It's stunning and it's the most amazing inner corner highlight. That's what I love it for. If I have like 5 minutes to put something on my face, I'll do a little concealer, brows, tap this in the inner corner of my eye, maybe mascara if I have time, and something on my lips, and it's beautiful. It's like a multi-reflect shift, and it just looks so pretty on the inner corners. I don't like it as much all over the lid. Inner corner is amazing. I do have a mascara favorite, probably an unpopular one, but I love this. The Kosas Big Clean Mascara. I've been using this for maybe 4 or 5 months and I think it's really good. I love the brush. It's fluffy and volumizing. For some people it smudges. I've had really no smudging problems at all with it. I'm gonna replace my Tarte Lights Camera lashes, which I'm so glad to get that purple leather snakeskin out of my makeup bag. I'll do a more in-depth review of this somewhere, but I did want to mention it as a favorite and that I've liked it. Okay, some eyeshadow palettes. I mean, this one I just got for Christmas, so it's really preliminary, but it's the only thing I've been using for like the last month. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. It's the NARS Extreme Effects eyeshadow palette. If you want to see more of this in action, including this most insane pinky coral shade right here, I've been using it every week on my Get Ready With Me live streams. I have really loved the Aether Joshua Tree palette and I'm hoping to get more use out of it in 2021. I think it's gorgeous, and I think the quality of the shadows is outstanding. Okay, I have a couple of lip things. Lip liner, definitely Kjaer Weis Bare. It's just a pinky nude. It's absolutely perfect. This with even just a little bit of balm, which I've really been liking the H's for Love, just translucent #1 lip balm. I just have a sample of it, and the texture of it is amazing. I also still really like the LAMOUR lip balm. Kjaer Weis Mesmerize lipstick has been a favorite. I talked about this when I refilled, or I showed it when I did that video refilling my Kjaer Weis compacts. This used to have Honor in it, and now Mesmerize. It's like my perfect pink lipstick. Discovered the Cupid and Psyche lipsticks this year. This is probably my favorite shade, Ione. It looks a little weird because I use this on my cheeks too, and I think I put it right over some contour cream, so it looks a little weird, but it's this beautiful purpley fuchsia. Great on the lips, great on the cheeks. Love the cute packaging with these wings on it. I have a couple of shades and I think they're great. You can get them at Pink Moon. I really also like the H's for Love lip glacé. Again, just based off this sample, you can see I've almost used the whole thing up. It's just a very lightly tinted lip balm. And more recently, I've been using the Precious Skin Elixir's Garnet Lip Glaze, and I'm obsessed. So this is kind of a very late 2020 favorite, but I love everything about it. This reminds me of the LAMOUR products too that do this kind of gold seal embossing. I had tried the H's for Love lip glacé many years ago and wasn't really that impressed, and for some reason I love it now. This is one of those like just get a little bit of tint on the lips, wears like a balm. Okay, let's transition now into some body care, some hair care, and some fragrance. So my favorite deodorant discovery this year was probably the Violets or Blue Magnesium deodorant. I also tried the Kosas deodorant, which I'm on, and the Clio and Coco deodorant, which I'm also somewhat on. I'm gonna be trying, I think it's Nala. It's the deodorant that won the Best in Show Indie Beauty Expo 2019 awards. I'm going to be trying that. Deodorant is so personal, much like mascara, right? But I liked this one. You get a very generous amount. Beauty Heroes carries it. It doesn't leave that kind of like greasy residue that Clio and Coco does, but I mean, it is gonna leave kind of some white deposit probably on the clothes. So it's not perfect, but I did like it this year, and I thought it did a great job at, you know, odor control and whatnot. Body care favorites. I did have one favorite body wash discovery. You know that I'm very loyal to my Iuna Spirolite, and it's just hard to find good body washes that like aren't bar soaps, but I found the Ment Do All Wash. This is actually marketed as a gentle everyday shampoo, but you can also use it as a cleanser for the face and the body. I bought this on a whim off Pink Moon, and I've really liked it. I think I had listed it as a favorite in a previous either podcast or video. It kind of smells like Coca-Cola. It's a little bit of a citrus bergamot type of scent. But yeah, I love the packaging. It's kind of a low suds, but you do feel like it's quite cleansing and refreshing. As far as Pink Moon goes, I need to put the permanent code down below in my, like the part of my description box that never changes, but you can use the code LAMOUR on all your Pink Moon orders to donate 10% of your order to the License Center, which I have talked about so many other places. I hate always having to be so self-referential about directing people to other places, but I just don't want to keep belaboring the same points over and over. If you want to hear about the License Center, I'll link below the video where I talked really extensively about my partnership with Pink Moon to donate money to this amazing cause supporting sustainable agriculture and just local food systems. Inlight Body Butter, another favorite discovery this year. Freaking love this product. You know, if you watched my Infiore review, I talked about the Solution Botanics as being a good choice for someone that kind of maybe already really loves the Infiore skincare experience and wants something more embodied. It's like the same with the Inlight products. They're on the same wavelength as Infiore. In fact, I just on the live stream I did yesterday, we were talking about something like a recent beauty box, and several people said and echoed each other that the only brands that they want to use lately are Earthwise, Inlight, Infiore. And I was like, yep, those are like mine too. I would also add like La Par. I'm really interested in Arcana, Yuli. Like these are the brands that are interesting to me at the moment. But yeah, Inlight Body Balm is going to give you that just next level of embodied experience with already a really kind of like potent and alive brand. Now kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, If you want something not quite so heavy on the skin, you probably knew I was going to talk about this. The Free and True Body Profit, Sea Buckthorn, Olive Leaf, and Pumpkin. I don't know if I mentioned it when I talked about Mama Pacha, but I'll include my Beauty Heroes review video that I did of these because I did do one. I think this was like back in March. I mean, this product is actually the second bottle. Went through a whole bottle of it, repurchased another one, and my husband Kjaer loves it. He has proclaimed it the best body product he has ever used. This is someone that doesn't really like to use a moisturizer, but this is a body serum. So it gives you actually, I feel, a better finish to the skin than just like a lotion that can kind of, sometimes if you don't pair them with things, can kind of feel like you didn't apply anything. But this is definitely more than just a moisturizer. I feel like it gives you that like serum and moisturizer effect, which is basically what it is. All over creamy serum. It's amazing. The smell I love. It smells very similar to the Freedom Fighter face oil, which I did not like at all as part of my skincare, but for some reason as body care, I'm bananas for it. I think it's so good. I love the pump. Love. However, Free and True has been somewhat hit or miss for me. I tried the Moonlight Milk Balm to Milk Cleanser, didn't really like it. It's in my empties to review. The Freedom Fighter I didn't really like. So I'm curious to try other things, but so far these two, which were curated in the Beauty Heroes box, have been total winners for me and for Kjaer as well. Okay, then I have to talk about the Mythic Medicinals St. John's Wort Herbal Body Oil. This is my second bottle of this. I've gone through an entire one. I discovered Amber Magnolia Hill of the Medicine Stories podcast and her herbal company Mythic Medicinals through someone that follows me on Instagram, has followed LAMOUR for a really long time. And when I was kind of having this awakening to herbalism, Western herbalism in particular this year, through Organic Olivia, who I'll talk about in a minute, this person directed me to check out the Medicine Stories podcast, and it was one of the best recommendations I have received in 2020 and like honestly probably in my life, because I learned so much by listening to every single episode of that podcast. Became very, very taken with the idea of herbal infused body oils to do full body oiling, kind of like Abhyanga. Kind of a comparable product that I've been using more recently and I am nuts for is the Live Botanical Moon Cycle Balm. Again, a pretty new discovery. In fact, I think I just started testing it at like the end of December. This was in a special edition Boxwalla box featuring this balm and a fruit tisane, I think is how you pronounce it, just like a loose herbal tea from Live Botanical. I'm not sure they're still available, but I'm considering buying at least one backup box because I love both products so much. This balm is meant for massaging into your abdomen if you have menstrual cramps, but I have just been using it on like if my lower back gets sore, if my shoulder gets sore, you can use it for that, and it's effective. It's like one of the most effective topical products with pain relieving qualities or just kind of like soothing and softening qualities. And then this is just so calming to the body. So, you know, herbal infused products have been definitely a favorite for me this year. Okay, for hair care, again, pretty new favorite, but I feel like I have to mention them because they are insane, and I would feel remiss if I didn't at least let you know how amazing I think that they are. The Abadi Suisse Yamuni Nourishing Shampoo and the Mahakali conditioner. I did an Instagram post on these after the first time I used them, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, how do these exist? They're so good. The scent is really good. The performance is amazing. The shampoo suds not excessively, but I can get a decent lather out of it. The conditioner is kind of on the lighter end, but I have my hair is like medium fine, so I don't need a super heavy duty conditioner, although I have been needing to do quite a bit of leave-in conditioners in between shampoos. But yeah, so good. The person that developed the scent is actually the person behind Eccentric Molecule, which is actually a lead-in to some fragrance stuff I want to talk about. But I did also want to mention that I have been liking the Clio and Cocoa Dry Shampoo and Body Powder, mostly because I really like the dispenser. It's just so much easier than dumping powder out and getting it into your hair. You just depress this. I could honestly probably use some right now in my hair, but you just depress this and it poofs powder out, and you can kind of do it everywhere. Let it sit and kind of soak up the oil in your hair and then brush it through. I think it's fantastic. I like this better than I've liked the Cleo and Coco deodorants, although if you made me choose, I prefer the deodorant in the normal plastic packaging to the no waste deodorant bar thing, which I actually reviewed in Product Crit podcast episode that's on Patreon. Let's talk about Eccentric Molecule because it's relevant to one of my perfume favorites. If this box is still available, again, I'm considering buying a backup of this because I like them so much. I'll link it down below for you. Okay, fragrance. So this is my very well loved and used bottle of Eccentric Molecule 01. Had this for a really long time. It's amazing. This is like kind of OG back in the day, beauty blogger territory, like all the British girls like Essie Button and Viviana Does Makeup, who are no longer those handles as we know, but just let me reminisce for a minute. They loved this. That was how I learned about it in like 2014. I think maybe 2015. I got a sample of the Ellis Brooklyn Iso Gamma Super with the Credo order that I had gotten, the La Part Day Silk. This is a pretty close dupe for Eccentric Molecule. It's that single note perfume, and it is like a clean, I guess you could say, or I mean, I hate using that language, but it's a natural eco beauty dupe, in my opinion, for Eccentric Molecule. They're not identical, but I have really loved the Ellis Brooklyn Iso Gamma Super, and I would consider buying a full size of it. I do have to, I don't wear perfume a ton, especially stuff that I would spray on myself because, you know, I'm still intensively parenting my toddler. You know, he's around me all the time. So I don't want him to get full of perfume, basically. So I'm much more apt to continue reaching for my Infiore Patchouli Royale Perfume Solid. Not a new product to me, and the only reason I'm mentioning it in this is because Julie Elliott told me that these are getting phased out. The perfume solids are getting phased out of Infiore's collection. Basically, the compacts have gotten prohibitively expensive for them to import just in terms of the tariffs, and they're just not a good business investment for the brand anymore. Julie said she's continued to make them all these years because she just loves them. I do too. They're unique. They're one of the most beautiful items, beauty items I have ever encountered in my entire life. So if you want one, they're basically selling out of all the inventory that they have of the perfume solids, and then they're going to be gone. She said that they probably will bring something comparable back, but not for, you know, probably many years, several years, until they can source a different compact. So I did want to let you know that it's kind of, they're going away, which is such a shame because this is an incredible product. And from there, we transitioned to talking about toothpaste. Kind of a weird transition, but I had to mention Risewell Mineral Toothpaste. I got this in the same order from Pink Moon that I got the Mint Dual Wash, and it's been another favorite. I have been a diehard user of David's toothpaste for years, like the last 4 years probably. I got really interested in hydroxyapatite as a remineralizing alternative to fluoride in dental care. Learned about that on Organic Olivia's podcast, which I'll talk about in a minute. There's other brands that are doing hydroxyapatite toothpaste, like Boca, maybe you've heard of. That one, it does include a nano version of hydroxyapatite, so it's synthetic. The hydroxyapatite that they use in Risewell is actually naturally sourced, so that's why it's more compelling to me. I felt the need to become more serious about remineralizing my teeth after pregnancy and childbirth because these phases in life can really leach minerals out of your bones, and your teeth are bones. So I had never had a cavity in my entire life, baby teeth or adult teeth, and I had one tiny one in one of my bottom molars about 6 or 7 months postpartum. So I'm just taking a more kind of active interest in my dental care to prevent further mineral leaching and keeping my teeth nice and remineralized. There's some other like tips and tricks in the podcast episode that I'll mention, but basically like I don't rinse my mouth out with water after I brush my teeth. I floss and then brush so that the hydroxyapatite actually can get further into the teeth and the gums. I just recommend this highly, highly, I will never be without it. Okay, so we talked about the Earthwise teas, and then there's just a couple of other things, kind of like, I could go so nuts in the like kind of supplement, holistic wellness space, but I'm just going to mention a couple of things here that have been important discoveries. One is Activist Manuka. Got to discover these through Beauty Heroes. This is actually an empty jar of the 100 plus MGO. This is a really, really good culinary use one, which is why we went through it so quickly. I give it to the baby on toast. It's amazing. This company is beautiful, and it really inspired me looking forward into 2021 because their tagline, like what you'll see imprinted on their boxes, are the words "give freely." It says right here. If you are on Patreon and listened to my recap of our wedding that happened in November and the whole experience of planning a wedding during this time, how kind of complicated and fraught it was, but also really a revealing gift in a lot of ways. One of the main personal growth takeaways from this last year for me has been how much I want to be a more generous person. Not generous in the way you might think like, oh, donate money or whatever. I mean, that's important too, but really being generous in spirit towards people, something that I want to cultivate in my life. And it takes practice, like being generous with people who don't like me, who have a problem with me, with family members that are antagonistic towards me. All of these things are opportunities for me to try and come back to this mantra of giving freely with no expectation in return. And it's difficult, but it's something that I'm endeavoring to practice in 2021 and beyond. The other product, I can't remember if I found this in 2019 or 2020, but I've been taking it all of 2020, and it's Zach Bush's Ion gut health product. I also give it to the baby. These are empty. I always have some. I actually just signed up for the subscription so that I'll kind of never be without it and I don't have to keep reordering it. I did a podcast episode on this product because I get questions like, you know, what results have you seen, or what's your experience like? So I did cover it extensively in kind of an extended Q&A format. It feels like an important part of my own personal wellness routine. I'm going to end with the 3 most important podcasts that I found this year. My top 3 were Medicine Stories, Organic Olivia's What's the Juice podcast, and Meghan Murphy's Feminist Current podcast. Let me start with Olivia's podcast first. I found Olivia around the time that COVID was blowing up here in the States, like in early March. I found her because her parents both had very early and severe cases of COVID. So I started following her and her journey with that, and from there just started listening to her podcast and had this big epiphany about how empowering it can be to take control, whatever control you can take of your health, that there are tools that you can explore and implement to help yourself. Not that they're going to solve everything, and yes, we're very glad that a medical system exists to treat acute emergencies, but that there's a lot that we can do. Her interview with Tracy Donat, I think is how you pronounce her name, from the company Simple Tonics, was the first episode I ever listened to, and I think it's a wonderful episode to start with if you are new to herbal medicine and herbal healing, because it's very inspiring. That was what kind of sent me off to the races. I was discovering Earthwise. I saw all of Earthwise's teas. I started learning about overnight infusions, decoctions, and it was a really nice complement to all of the work ongoing work that I do with my acupuncturist. I take Chinese herbs really regularly, but sort of the nutritional side of Chinese medicine also has a lot of tie-ins with Western herbalism. So there's a lot of overlap, things that you can do to build your blood, nourish your qi, flush things out, move your lymph. Like all of these are things that you can help yourself with through the world of herbal remedies. And there are so many resources for just learning over time. It's kind of a lifelong study thing. So I felt very inspired by all of that this year. She also has an interview with Dr. Stephanie Castranato, I want to say, of the Vagus Clinic. And I thought that was a wonderful episode. I learned so much about not just the vagus nerve, but a truly functional approach to health. And there's a lot focused on parasites and like mold and other toxicity issues and how to deal with those in that episode. So I have actually been getting questions from people looking for resources to do cleanses and wondering about parasites and things like that. So I think that's a good place to start because they do touch on that. The dental episode with Dr. Mark Berhini, I believe is his name, is also wonderful. If you still need to be convinced about why fluoridating our water supply is harmful and that it's so overdone in the States and it's not done to that extent in other parts of the world and why that's a problem, this is wonderful to listen to. This is a respected functional dentist, and he talks a lot about the trends in the dental world, and I just think like his expert opinion is so valuable. And that's how I started learning about hydroxyapatite. Probably the most impactful podcast episode I listened to all year. I mean, it's hard to say that because I just feel like I found so much wonderful information this year. It's like 2.5 hours long, but Olivia did a very in-depth personal episode on all of the details of helping her parents through COVID. And I need to re-listen to it. It's deeply emotional. I cried through a lot of it. I just think it's one of the most important things that I listen to. So I would just highly recommend it. It's so worth the time. She's a very inspirational person, and I love what she is giving freely out in the world. It's really inspiring. Okay, now let's talk about medicine stories. So Amber Magnolia Hill got this great recommendation to listen to her. Some of my favorite episodes: the episode with Scylla Whatcott, who is a homeopath, very experienced and respected homeopath. I learned all about homeoprophylaxis as an alternative to immunizations. I found it very compelling. I did a whole podcast episode on Patreon about this topic. If you're interested on my take, I am not an anti-vaxxer. Please do not label me as that. There is so much more than just these black and white labels that we put on people. All of the episodes she has done with Cami McBride, I think, are worth listening to. So that's where you'll learn about herbal infused oil making. I went on to sign up for Cami McBride's handcrafted herbal oiling course, which you get lifetime access to. Once I have some time, I'm planning to start infusing my own oils. The episode with Katie Bowman, who's the author of Move Your DNA and a number of other books all about ancestral movement. That's where I found my way to Anya's reviews, who is a barefoot shoe blogger, and I started just learning about proper functional body alignment. I bought myself a pair of correct toes, and I'm researching barefoot footwear. I have a pair of Luna sandals that I bought over Christmas for the upcoming summer season. So Katie Bowman's approach to ancestral movement I found extremely compelling and something I want to explore more in 2021. The interviews with Kelly Brogan and Charles Eisenstein are kind of on the same wavelength and really good. I found both of them this year, and I found, again, similar to Zach Bush, they're just people that are presenting alternative perspectives for people to consider outside of mainstream narratives and dogma. And I think that that's really important, whether or not you agree. I mean, just having exposure to a different way of thinking about things, I think, is essential for freedom of thought. Her episode with Rupam Henry is wonderful. It's all about holistic dental care, so it's a nice companion to the Dr. Berhini episode on Olivia's podcast. And I actually would like to book a consult with Rupam. I need to re-listen to that episode. There's so much good information in it, and all about how to take care of our teeth in a holistic way, how to heal cavities, provides a lot of great information on root canals, and basically helping the body to detox through extricating yourself from toxic dental work. And I think that that's really important information for people to have. They're pretty recent episodes, I think 71 and 72, on water. She interviewed Dr. Carly Newday and Isabel Friend, and it's all about structured water. I just did a patron exclusive video, 37-minute video on this topic. I've been getting into different modalities for structuring water at home. It's like a lifelong exploration. Very complex and vast topic, but really important. And then the last one that I'm going to mention, because it dovetails into Feminist Current, is the episode with Emily Saldaya. Amber interviewed Emily Saldaya of the Free Birth Society. Emily is a free birth advocate, which is basically reclaiming pregnancy and the process of birth and postpartum out of the medical model and putting it back in the hands of women. I think she also trains birth workers to assist women in a woman-centered way and a mother-baby-centered way. This episode was extremely transformational for me in a lot of ways because it opened me up to a number of other issues that I just had not thought very deeply about until this year. Reframed my ideas of feminism. Do I consider myself a feminist? What kind of feminist? I started questioning things like commercial surrogacy, transgender activism, and gender ideology, and how that's reframing legal protections of sex-based rights. These are extremely difficult topics to talk about openly because you will be viciously attacked if you do not toe the proper politically correct lines with these things. That's why I haven't really talked very openly about it. I have just been awoken to this world of radical feminism, what that means, how that's different from liberal feminism, neoliberal feminism, the problems with a choice-based model, like everything is a choice, deconstructing a lot of that. One of Andrea Dworkin's books, who's a very well-known radical feminist, is on my reading list this year. Through Emily's work on the Free Birth Society, she had reposted something of Meghan Murphy's, who's a radical feminist based in Vancouver, Canada, and she runs her own podcast called Feminist Current. She's had some wonderful guests on. I think these women are incredibly brave to put themselves out there and want to have conversations that affect every single woman on this planet. I've just gotten really ignited over these issues. I have had some longtime followers that have seen me post things about Meghan Murphy come out and say like, oh my gosh, you're into radical feminism. I'm a rad femme. I've just been able to really develop my thinking with these like-minded women who I'm learning so much from and just reframing a lot of things that I really took for granted or didn't pay attention to. These are evolving ideas for me. I feel like I've grown a lot in the last year intellectually, and I just have had so many ideas challenged, and it's just been a really transformational year for everybody. And through it all, I have tried to keep providing content that is a respite for people and where we can really just express our love and appreciation for artisan makers, for plants, for what a beauty ritual can really mean and bring to someone's life, just what it's like to use a truly beautiful product. So I'm sorry that I kept you so long. I mean, am I sorry? I mean, this has been so fun for me to sit here and get into all of this, but I appreciate all of you so much. I really look forward to spending time with you in 2021. You know where you can find me, or if you don't, all of it will be linked below for you. I hope your 2021 is off to an okay start, although I know that it has been rocky in the outer scape. We have to look forward, and I think that's what a lot of us are doing. So I'm sending you all a lot of love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.